In many cases, describing the potential purchase or concept to a trusted friend or family member can be helpful, just as a sanity check. Often, the process of recounting the benefits of a deal that's too good to be true can reveal its shortcomings. Also, another person's perspective may help crystallize unanswered questions about the idea. If the deal is genuinely strong, it will pass further inquiry. But if the price is too high, the emotional cost excessive, or the valuation unrealistic, some cynicism is necessary. To peruse an income projection, with its equally sized and shaded numbers and letters, is to be lulled into a false sense of security. There are no gradations of font size or tone to clue us that some numbers are vastly more credible than others. I have always wondered why the numbers for interest expense on a spreadsheet, which would be available years in advance, are not presented in a much darker shade than the line for licensing software revenue, which is considerably harder to predict. Over the years, I have sat through many meetings with corporate managements where the thought, "You've got to be kidding," has run through my mind so loudly that I almost needed to cover my mouth. This type of skepticism would have been very helpful in the case study that follows. Trust. Sometimes competent and intelligent people allow themselves to sink into tremendously risky situations. They fail to understand the scope of their risk and fall hostage to unconditional faith. Dean Henderson, which is a pseudonym, was one of those people. He was an ophthalmologist originally from Lincoln, Nebraska, who made his way east for education. Married Lynn, a beautiful Texan, had 3 gorgeous children, and became a highly regarded member of their Episcopal church. The only clue to a daredevil streak was the fact that Dean had been a star diver on the Princeton swim team. As someone who swam on her college team and had the chance to dive off the 10-meter diving platform on many occasions, I found that one belly flop was enough to scare me out of the next. Dean and a couple of his friends from medical school formed a practice in 1971 called Vision Health and Surgical Services. Vision Health and Surgical Services is a pseudonym. They attracted several other eye doctors, and their practice grew steadily. Several of them were enamored with entrepreneurial ideas, and at first, the ventures they invested in were related to their profession, such as a retinal scope that could see behind a patient's eyes. Dean was a huge believer in these exciting ventures, even as the opportunities moved far afield of eye therapy. One of these startups, which originated with a friend of one of Dean's partners, was a mortgage banking company whose primary customers lacked the credit scores to qualify for traditional home loans. The second enterprise bought faltering radio stations with the intention of turning them around. The fact that Dean and his fellow ophthalmologists had no previous experience in these other businesses did not seem to raise a red flag. By the recession of 1991, both the mortgage banking and the radio businesses had gone bankrupt. Despite losing millions, the doctors were running a very successful practice, led by cataract surgery, an increasingly common treatment for glaucoma and a hugely profitable procedure for eye surgeons. Although the core business was performing extremely well, and all the partners were earning strong salaries, one of the partners had another investment that he sold hard to Dean. Undermining conditions. Dean's partner was pushing a company called Care Codes, which is a pseudonym. The concept seemed simple. Relieve doctors of the headache of compiling the forms and coding the procedures that Medicare now required before releasing payments to providers. Not only did Vision Health need a system like this, but as one of the owners, it would capitalize on the entire industry's need for this service. Several of the partners thought it was a fantastic idea.